Values, needs, and wants. What are values? Something that is desirable, worthwhile, and important. Influenced by family, friends, teachers, coaches, television, and movies. Each person has different values which guide his or her daily decisions. So, for example, we may not all have the same values, and that is sometimes why we make different decisions. Need versus want. Need, something necessary or required for life. So, some examples of needs are food, water, clothing, shelter. I feel like we might argue, human interaction is also a need. Um, this is need is it gets a little weird because there are things that might sound like wants that do wind up being needs. So some examples of those things would actually be something like um, transportation, right, to get to jobs. So that could be a bicycle, that could be a car because of where you guys live, right? There's not easy bus access. Um, internet access, phone, phone access. Those are all things that really kind of fall into this need category, but you won't die if you don't have them. And if you can justify why they are a need, then they probably are a need. If you were to tell me concert tickets are a need and you will die if you don't have them, that's not a need, that's a want. But to get through your everyday life, to be a productive person, you could add things like transportation or internet access or phone access to this definition of needs or examples of needs. A want is something unnecessary but desired. So it will increase the quality of living or make a person happier. So some examples would be iPhones, PlayStations, designer clothes. Um, how do values influence wants? If being popular or having all the newest gadgets is valued, a person may have a lot of wants. So wants are basically anything that's not a need. And we all have wants, and wants, at least we believe, wants make our life better. So we don't need them to be alive. We don't need them to be a productive person. We need them because they make our lives better. So a good example would be iPhones or Samsung Galaxies. They're very expensive. If you need to have a phone, does it have to be that phone? You could probably find a phone that's a little bit cheaper. Um, the same thing. You need clothing. Do you need expensive clothing? Can you go to Target and get clothes? Yes. Do you have to go to Nordstrom or Macy's or Neiman Marcus to get clothes? No. That would be a difference between a need and a want when we're talking about clothing. And then this how do values influence what we want? Depending on what you value or what you see as important to you is going to change what you want. So, just a fun little poster. To be happy in life, you must learn the difference between what you want versus what you need. And I will tell you, as you get older, you will realize that a lot of the things you thought you needed, you actually want. So here's a little you decide. So here's some things. Do you need a car? Do you need Nike sneakers? Do you need a hot tub? Do you need a computer? Do you need food? Do you need an iPhone? Do you need a cell phone? Do you need clothes? So I'm going to kind of go through this with you. So I would say for a car, maybe we'll do some highlighting instead. Car, we'll highlight that in, okay, maybe we're not. Oh, there we go. We'll highlight that in yellow. So for you guys, where you live, a car is probably a need because you do not have easy access to buses. So whether you have it or your parents have it, that would probably be a need. Nike sneakers, that would be a want. right? You can get any sneakers, they don't have to be Nike. A hot tub, that would be a want. You're not going to die if you don't have a hot tub. A computer. So in 2020, I think we might all agree that a computer is a need. It doesn't have to be a $1,200 MacBook computer, but some sort of a computer or a tablet, something that allows you that internet access that we do use in everyday life. Food. I think we're going to all agree that food is a need. You will die if you don't eat. An iPhone. I think we could say an iPhone is a want. Now we have cell phone written here. And I'm going to put cell phone as a need. And the reason I'm putting cell phone as a need is because if you were out and you had an emergency, you are not going to find a payphone anywhere. I don't think I've seen a payphone in 10 years. You do need some sort of way to communicate if there's an emergency. And clothes. Clothes are definitely a need. So I hope this helps you see kind of some of the differences. So spending money. How do values influence how people spend money and make financial decisions? If an individual values helping others, he may decide to give money to a church or other charitable organization. How do needs and wants influence how people spend money and make financial decisions? Well, part of that is once you start to realize what you need and what you want, you start to get what you need first and save for what you want after. And having talked to some of you, you do already kind of understand that concept, even if you're not calling it needs and wants or budgeting, which is our next unit. And just a reminder, value is something that is desirable, worthwhile, and important. A need is something necessary or required for life. A want is something unnecessary but desired. And a person's values and perception of needs and wants influence their personal financial decisions.